All right, welcome to the OC Housing Talk. I'm back here with Tim Lorenz and Mike Van Ruth. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Ready to get going.
How are you? How do you like our Spartan digs?
Yeah, we got kicked out of our normal digs, and here we are.
We'll make it happen.
Absolutely.
As we always do. Well, we had a conversation at lunch about a topic they were interested in. Why don't you go ahead and elaborate on that?
Yeah, what I really wanted to go into today is what I would call making sure that the agent has the right perspective on the market they're in. Now, that sounds pretty simple. In fact, it seems impossible that somebody wouldn't know what kind of market they're in. But the majority, I don't even want to use majority. A lot of agents absolutely start off with exactly what they did last year, or the year before, or the year before that. And real estate is constantly changing. By that I mean that there are many, many different things that are happening. They are either it's a buyer's market or seller's market, or fairly even level market. It's going up fast or down fast, or is fairly level. Then you have other conditions that are going on. What's happening in the neighborhoods? Is there something that's changing? What's happening nationally? Is there something that's changing? What is driving all this? And agents want to use the same program they used last year, 2 years ago, 6 years ago, and it's always the same. And the market isn't the same. How can you use that?
But that shoe don't fit no more.
Not at all. So the big problem is, how knowledgeable is the agent you're talking to? And a lot of customers don't quite know how to evaluate that. And even if they think they know how to evaluate it, they're usually starting with the worst way to evaluate it is, how cheaply can you sell my home? What's the commission you charge? And in today's market, I think I mentioned it last week or the week before, there are some who fraudulently, I think, or at least misrepresent or with trickery, indicate one thing, and then when they're in the house, they go, "Oh, that's not what I meant," and they have something else. So it's trying to attract people in. But separate from commission, do they know what they're doing, and can they get the job done? And that becomes, for most people that I talk to, at least that's not the first place they want to go. They want to go to, I want to save money. There's commission commercials that go on TV and radio that are all based on commission, but not telling you how to maximize the value and to maximize how much money goes into your pocket. And
exactly. That's the age-old adage. It's like, okay, are you more concerned about commission, or are you more concerned about how much money you're going to walk away in your pocket?
Or are you even going to get it sold? Years and years ago, it's a funny story, but it's true. I kept coming up against this one gentleman. I'm not going to use too much of his advertising because the others may figure it out, and I'm really not here to bury him. But he had said that he had listed 36 homes, and it was early in the year. And I'm like, wow, that is unbelievable. And he just came on the scene. Who is this guy? And I had quite a few listings. And so we were coming into competition, and he was walking away with a few of them. And that's just not okay to me. So I decided I'd research who he was. And people were listing with him. He did have 36 listings. And he also had 62 expireds.
Whoa.
He did not have one sale. So you can see the trouble you get into if you're talking just how much you're charging, or they're trying to buy your listing without performance. And it really can lead you not just to low dollar gain that you have, and it can be a lot lower. You add the commission to what the gains are that the people who work with us get, and we're basically free. Why? Because no matter what they charged, we still outperformed them. That means there's more money in that person's pocket.
Just so we can clarify, Explain the term buying the listing. Because there might be people out there, what was he talking about? Buying
Well,
a listing.
instead of performing, actually doing the listing, proving that they can do it, they say things like, I'll do a 1%, 2%, 3%, 4% commission. I'll reduce my commission by this much if you'll go for me. And yet, if the seller in this case is talking to him, they're going, well, he must do something to get all those listings because he's not very good. I mean, they're saying that in their own head. They know that what he or she, the real estate agent, is saying just doesn't go with what their experience has been, but they figure if he's doing that much business or she's doing that much business, they must be good. And it isn't that you take a lot of listings, it's how many sales you have and what is the percentage. How much money do you get from the day you list it to the day you sell it? What is that percentage? Is it 90%, 95%, 100%, 102, 107, 110? What is that number? And most agents don't want to talk about it.
Is there also the flip side of that where they tell the seller that, oh, your home's worth X amount, when in the market it's only worth this amount? And they're like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll sell my house for
again,
that much.
There are agents who figure that they will list it at a high price and then just week after week after week beat on the client to reduce the price. And that isn't what anybody wants. They just you don't want to be beat up every week trying to get your price down. And that's, again, buying the listing, but it's by doing it by listing too high. And they outbid what can't be done. So, again, if you have set in front of you the documents and the numbers that the other side should be producing also. In fact, often when I do that, they said they said they could do more. I say, well, did they show you these numbers? This is it. This is what's out there. This is the way it's figured. This is what an appraisal will look at. So even if you could find somebody at that, how do you get it sold at that? And I'm talking about in a normal market, not in a jet market like we're in now. But even at that, at least I have answers for that.
Yeah.
And it's experience, but it's also in a market like we're in now, an awful lot of agents, and I think I've said this over 3 different podcasts now, there are a lot of agents that are depressed. And I'm like, I don't get it. This is a great market. And it's because it takes longer, it's harder work, because there are fewer listings if you're working with buyers. And I'll come back to buyers in a minute, the setup for the buyers and how you get the right things going correctly. They don't know how to work in a market that they're not familiar in. Since it takes about 3.5 years to go through a cycle, and our cycles have been elongated to even more than that, like 5 years. Mm-hmm. If they've only been in 5 years, they haven't been through all the cycles. So what happens? What are we doing? This is so different. I don't know what to do with this. I don't like multiple offers. I don't like dealing with multiple offers. I don't know what to do. What can I say? What can I say? They're completely confused at the detriment of the seller. And again, they're learning on the fly, but they don't know all the things that they can do. I'm talking legally, justifiably, and honestly. So some try to cut corners. I've seen where agents will convince their convince their seller to take a buyer at a lesser amount because it has more down payment. I even heard this morning on the news. It was a business channel, and they had on a real estate agent. She said, oh, yes, in our area, people won't even look at anything less than 20% down, and they'd prefer 50. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Well, it means they have more money into it. They're solid. If the person has been pre-qualified, not pre-approved, if they're putting 2% down, it means they can do this. If less than 2% fail, which was the number, I haven't looked at it in about 3 years, but if less than 2% of transactions fall out, the highest number is what I think the seller would want. However, there are other conditions. There are people who want, maybe one is a higher number, but it is risky. So they don't have to take the higher number, but if you can get them the higher number, all the terms are in their favor. They get to stay in the property until they find one. If all these things are panning out at a FHA loan, which is 3.5%, why not take that?
You're, at the end of the day, you're leaving with more money in your pocket. Why would you not take it?
Well, and the other thing is, they put more skin in the game. They have a bigger deposit. It doesn't matter because it's very difficult to keep. And I know that this aggravates some people, but the deposit, if it's around 1%, is fine. You can collect up to 3%. And people offer more, not to pay the client, but more deposit. If, again, less than 2% fail, why are we worried about a deposit? Other than they have, and by the way, there are other fiduciary things that we do for you to make sure the person is legitimate, can produce other than just the pre-approval letter, proof of funds. There's a number of things. But what I'm saying is agents get tied up in stuff that doesn't really matter and are advising clients what I consider to be taking offers that may not be in their best interest. Are they doing it to harm them? No, I think they're doing it out of lack of knowledge. But the net effect is the same.
Interesting.
It really is. I mean, to hear that on a national broadcasted show this morning, it was like, I can't believe they're saying it.
Yeah, I would have been standing there with my mouth a little open, scratching my head, going, what are they talking about?
Exactly.
And they're on national TV.
They're on national TV. They got a spot, and they're talking about what's going on in the market, which is interesting. And what was being said, just to bring you up to, if you haven't seen any other podcasts, we're on a rocket ship. It's going straight up. Values are going up so fast we can't figure it out. Meaning we don't know how much it's going to gain in what period of time. And when you're in a market like this, and they have existed before, I've been through 3 of these, where you gain so much money in 1 year, it's best if you're thinking about buying, buy now. It's cheaper than it will be in a month from now, and certainly cheaper than 3 months from now, by a lot. And if you buy now, you get the equity gain in those 3 months, and you literally will be in a great place. So having said that, why would you want to sell now? Maybe you could get more money. Well, yeah, but right now, as markets go up, the lower one goes up slow, and the other one that you're trying to buy that's more expensive goes faster. Mainly because of the percentages. The real money is much different. So you're getting more, and you're getting further and further away from the house that you want with each day. So try not to do that. This is a market we're getting in. Well, it's so hard to do. My agent says maybe we should wait. If that agent said that, I'm scratching my head. Or my neighbor said, just wait, it's going to come down. I don't see it. There's nothing in this to say. It's a runaway market. Runaways don't stop quick. So it's going to continue. It has its own inertia. You can't get in front of it even with an interest rate. It's not going to slow down and stop. So this market we know is going, and it's running. Now, having said that, well, it's so hard to find one. Yes, it is. Hard to find a property. Got to go out and you got to look. You got to look right away. You can't wait until the weekend even. If I was your agent and you were looking to buy a property, I would be looking. You'd be looking, because I know all people are looking online now. You call me, I look it up, and I say, that one sold an hour ago. So when it comes up, if you understand where we are, you want to get into the market right away also and take care of what's going on quickly. We want to make sure we get an offer in as soon as possible. We want to make sure that offer is being read as soon as possible. Another area agents make a mistake, as you can state, we want this offer to be read within what period of time? I often use hours in this market.
Yeah.
And the default, in other words, if you don't write anything in there, it's 3 days. That's a fool's gain or loss. If you wait 3 days, somebody else is going to put in offers. Now you're in a bidding war. So you want them to do it quickly, if you can.
Yeah, you want to get a seller to sign that ASAP.
So there are strategies, and you have to know what market you're in. If you're on the buy side, I already kind of gave that away. Get out, search quickly, have an agent that can get up, go out, and show you as soon as it comes on the market, because that's important. It's important so that you're not competing with everybody. You may end up doing that. Some agents may say, we're going to review offers after the weekend. And you can say, I want them to review it now. They'll say, fine. Take it to them. They'll say, yes, but we're going to wait until after the weekend because they've already set it up and designed it so they can maximize for their
I know some folks who do that.
I do too. But what I'm saying is but not everybody does.
No.
So what's happening is you have to have a situation where you'll have the best chance of getting the lowest price, and that requires skill, it requires knowledge, it requires strategy. And there are strategies for each of these different markets. And when you haven't been in long enough, everything is a surprise. Each market you go into, you're scratching your head. It doesn't operate the way it did last year. No, sometimes it doesn't operate the way it did last
week
and last week.
That's how quickly things are changing.
Oh my goodness, it's just exploding. I like this. To me, this is fun, but it can be exasperating for buyers in this market. Keep cool, keep looking, keep offering. Don't try and offer at the highest amount. You can't look at houses if you're qualified for $850,000. You better be looking at $830,000 or $820,000 so that you can bid to your highest. Because if you go right to your highest, it's going to go for more.
Yeah, it's going to take one person to put an offer over, you're out.
You're out.
Because you have no leverage above that.
That's right. So don't get yourself set up to buy something that you can't, because the market has, from the time they put it on the market to the time it sells, it is behind if they listed it correctly. Now, you do have people who are trying to jump it, meaning they list it too high, and then it sits there. And then since everything sells quickly, if it's sitting there and you see it's been on the market for 32 days, in this market, something's wrong.
Something's wrong with it. Then that, like I say, that property creates a reputation for itself. Oh, that house has been on the market for a long time. What's wrong with it? This house must have some
Maybe
problems.
we can steal it.
Yeah, that's the other one too.
Yeah, they must be desperate now.
Or they start to see multiple price reductions. Oh, if it's reduced price twice already, let's hang out for the third one.
That's right.
So
Exactly.
you don't want to have that reputation on your property.
No, and what you just need is somebody who understands markets, who understands what's going on, can give you an idea of where things will be and explain it to you so you have the best chance to get what you want. And you will get what you want. And it's all in the interview, if you ask me, where we sit down and we go into depth about everything about what you're looking for, so we don't have errors. There'll be times when buyers get desperate and they look on the internet and then they call and say, I'd like to see this house, and we know that's not when they're going to buy because they're desperate. They're saying, oh my God, I'd take this, and I would say, I'll show it to you, but I don't think you'd be happy with it. Please don't buy a house you're not happy with. I mean,
Or a lot of times they'll look on one of these websites. I want to look at this property, not realizing that thing's already had an offer put on it. It's already in contract.
Right. Well, a lot of those are out there. They can't see the under contract or the pending, so they still think it's active, and we can see that it's already sold.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's only taking a little bit longer to find a property than it has in the past, so we don't need to get into panic mode.
No, you just need to be ready to move once you find the property you want.
Right.
You can't sit back and wait. Well, let's think about it. And no, you better be prepared right now to put an offer in out.
Yep, that's right. And the best agents are ones who can absorb the negatives of what's going on in the market, explain them to you. You may have somebody complaining and saying, oh, my agent said it's really the worst market. I've heard this. Worst market I've ever seen. It's really hard out there. Really? It's just a market. And if you understand what you're doing, you come out well. I heard somebody else say, I would never pay more. I could never tell a person to pay more for the property than it's worth. Well, neither could I. But the problem is, they're saying the list price is what it's worth. That isn't even true. Sometimes they list way over, so the list price isn't true. Or they list under, the list price isn't true. And right now, almost unless you're ridiculous, the list price isn't the price anymore. 3-4 days afterwards, it's above that. It's that fast a market.
Yeah, the market's so dynamic now that it might have been that price yesterday when you're doing comps, but tomorrow that value is completely different.
Exactly right.
Moving that quick.
It's outrageous, but fun, and you make money. And after I explained to an agent, this is a market where agents look good. A downward trending market, agents look bad. The agent isn't the fault, the market is. But a lot of people think agents control this, which they don't. So when they see the market going down, they think you agents are driving our prices down. But you're a hero if 2 months after they're in the property, they have equity and they're going, wow, I've already made X number of dollars. You're the hero.
Yeah,
what did you do? You got him in a
your
house.
Your agent is a superstar.
Right. Exactly.
I did nothing. I just sold you the house. The market carried it further.
Right. Some people called it the equity train. Ride the equity train.
Ride it.
Yeah. And if you were thinking of investing, it could be a good time to do that. It is a good time to do that as far as getting equities right away. The downside for some is that you're going to have a hard time, unless you have a pretty good size down, in buying a property and being able to rent it to cover all the costs. But the write-offs are so good in owning a property that that may not be a problem, in that if you make a lot of extra money and you need write-offs for tax purposes, owning properties have very good write-offs, so it can write off some of your income. That gets into a whole other discussion. If you want more on that, talk to your accountant.
Well, a lot of those write-offs come from things that we can't do if you own the property and live it yourself. But if you're renting it,
yes,
now it's kind of seen as a business. It opens up all these other
association is one of those things. If there's an association on a property, you're not supposed to write it off on your own. But if it's a leased property, it's an expense.
Mm-hmm.
And there's depreciation on all properties.
Yes.
And that depreciation you write off. When you sell it, you have to recoup it if you made money. But there's automatic depreciation. So that, again, your accountant would talk to you about. I don't want to get deep into this because it depends on who you are, what you're doing, whether it's the right strategy. If you want to call us, again, Tim Lorenz, Elite Home Sales Team, 949-874-2247. If you want to call us, I'd be more than happy to tell you that.
Now, on a side note, I'm coming here. I'm going to toot Tim's horn a little bit. Toot, toot. All right. You were given an award this morning.
Yes, I was.
I saw. Tell us a little bit about it.
It was an award that I am pleased to get because it was on kind of what our whole team stands for, and that is giving good or excellent customer service. And I was awarded here within the company as having fabulous customer service. And customer service to me is really based upon doing what you said you were going to do it well. In fact, when you surpass that, you've done the job. Make sure you're there and available for clients. Make sure you try and help them in every situation. I've even helped people out of deals because they just couldn't do it anymore or whatever. Customer service is really having the customer in mind all the way through the transaction.
Oh, that's true. That's just how we typically operate all the time. I know through my own deals is I'm constantly thinking about how can I help them out, whatever case may be, and it's a good feeling.
Yes.
Again, I don't know if it's my mindset or the mindset of you, but I never think about the paycheck at the end.
No, can't do that.
I don't pre-calculate. I don't even think about it. Matter of fact, my wife said, "Well, what's going to be the commission on that?" I don't know. I did not do the calculations, and I refuse to, because that's not my goal. My goal is to help that client. I'm going to get paid at the end. It's just going to happen.
We've sold multi-million-dollar houses, and we've sold I think in the last few years. Yeah, last few years we had a mobile home in Hemet.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't live around here, that's out kind of in the desert, kind of in no man's land.
It's out there.
It's out there, but it's out literally remote. And I did it because somebody asked me if I could help them, and we went out and we sold that. Now, the job is the job, whether it's multi-million or a mobile home at, in that case, I think it was $79,000. I'm trying to remember. It was extremely low compared to, but the job is the same. And that is, if I'm going to take it on, I need to get it done correctly. And so if I take it on, I'm going to do that. And we did. We accomplished both. So
there's not tiers of customer service based on the sale price of the home.
No. And I real estate agents who are counting their money have very small businesses. The ones that are taking care of the client, again, customer service. If you're customer service based, your business grows by word of mouth. It grows by people complimenting you, telling their friends about you, etc. And that's the way my business has always grown.
There's no other way. Not in my mind, anyway.
Yes, well, there are other ways because I've seen them, but yeah, not ones that I could operate under, because this isn't a business. I mean, I'm generational, meaning I've sold the parents who got divorced, then I sold the husband, and I sold the wife, then I've sold the kids, and I haven't gone to the kids' kids yet. I haven't gotten to the grandkids, but
you'll get there.
I'll get there. Yeah. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, but it's fun. That says something. If you can get the generational buyers, it really is quite a compliment to me if the kids are buying from me. Because they say generationally, you can't relate to them. But I do. So it's good.
Well, you're a very personable individual, Tim.
Thank you. So those are the things that I think people should be on the lookout for. Does their agent, as you're interviewing, do they know what they're talking about? Do they know where to find it? Do they understand who you are? Do they understand your wants, your likes, and your needs? And can they get you the best deal for them, whether it's the lowest price in a high-price market for a buyer, or if it's the highest price in a high-price market for a seller. Both of those take skill. The ones who are trying to buy your listing will tell you it doesn't. Everybody's the same. That's because they can't compete.
No. And we've seen those. And a lot of times those agents do that so much, they create a reputation. In our world anyway, because it's a small world when you really cut it down. But these guys create a reputation. Oh, that guy. We
Yeah.
all know his game.
Yeah.
So they're out
It's
there.
not that it's a fixed commission. I'm not quoting nobody fixes commissions.
No.
But when they go so low, we know they can't do the job. They've got to be trying to do something that's really strange, because no company can keep its doors open. It costs money to run an operation. And if you cut it so low that became the standard, then everybody'd be doing it. You have to compete. This is a competitive industry. It's extremely competitive. So if everybody could operate at a ridiculously low commission, they would, to get the deal, if that was the deal. But it takes a certain amount to operate, to do it right. And if you were having brain surgery, you wouldn't ask the surgeon who was the lowest in price to go ahead and work on your brain. You would be looking for the best, no matter what the cost. And I know that's not a straight analogy because I want to make the maximum for my family. But you actually can compare what somebody does in performance. And that's what this is about. Who performs best?
Yeah, and the data is there.
It's there. A lot of them won't want to show you or tell you they don't know how to find it or it doesn't exist.
Sweep that under the rug.
Yes. We're more than happy to show it. Ours and whoever the competitor is.
Yeah. Well, terrific, Tim.
There you have it.
There you have it, in a nutshell.
Yes.
Well, everyone, if you like this video, please hit like, subscribe to this channel, and also follow us on social media. All our social media links are down in the descriptions below.
And what's the name of our channel?
Oh, I'm sorry, Tim. Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, OC Housing Talk.
Talk. Yes.
He gets on me about messing up a little bit. And you can see every once in a while when I'm announcing it, I watch the video, and you can see my
see
brain
brain thinking, yes. OC Housing Talk. That's us.
I'll get it one of these days, Tim.
Yeah, I know. 30, 40 times it'll work.
Yeah, I just need to stand in front of a mirror and say it over and over and over again.
There you are.
I'll be perfect.
No, I just wanted to make sure so that if you are listening to this rather than watching it, which on some channels you may be doing that, it is OC Housing Talk.
Yeah, and we'll be hopefully here soon uploading that to a audio only, so you'll be able, listen to it while you're driving or whatever the case may be.
I just had somebody ask me, one of the other agents who wants to listen to it, and he said, "Are you on Apple Podcast yet?" And I said, "We're going to be there."
Yeah, we'll move in that direction. It's just
time.
It's just, yeah.
We do this, plus we have a business.
Yeah, on top of everything else. Because there's a lot that goes into producing these. So,
absolutely.
All right, fantastic, Tim.
Thank you.
Well, thank you again. Yeah, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.